Hi students, welcome to Sreedhar'scce Anantapuramu YouTube channel and welcome to our session, editorial analysis session. Like, what do we have in our session? The people already familiar with quote of the day, like for the motivation purpose, and root words. Like we have been discussing these root words to memorize the vocabulary in the easiest way, and idiomatic expressions, especially phrases keeping exam in point of view. You would have observed in the recent examples, like even a small mistake which can cost you mark. So be very careful with these phrasal expressions, guys. And vocab, which covers phrases, idiomatic expressions, phrasal verbs, as well as content vocabulary along with the parts of speech is discussed in this editorial vocab, and the analysis related to the editorial of the day. And the last but not the least, test of the day is also discussed, like with shortcuts, which will be very useful for the upcoming exams. So a small information to you guys, whoever is going to write the upcoming exams, Arabic, clerical, or this whoever wrote this PO prelims, so they are pretty familiar with the problem of scrolling. So to come out of that problem, we people, Sreedhar'scce CCE has designed such papers in our website. You can visit our website and you can write and you can practice that particular models at least daily 2 to 3 exercises, so which can make you feel comfortable in the examination. User interface will be a little different, but you can definitely get rid of that fear of that scrolling related delaying problem. I hope you got that point, guys. Next, let's get to the quote of the day. There is no elevator to success. You have to walk you have to take the stairs. What does that mean? So some people would be thinking like, so they can get the success in the easiest way possible, which is not at all possible, of course. So 90s kids would be familiar with a statement of quotation on notebooks. Like some students who are watching this would be connected to this statement immediately. So hard work has no substitute. On notebooks you would have observed this particular statement. Hard work has no substitute. That means, so there is no substitute to hard work. Means hard work is the only way to get to your success. So success gets through this hard work. So there is no easy way to get success. That means stairs means you have to do hard work and you have to get success. That is the only way. And let's get to idiomatic expressions. Like these are the things which I told just before. So be very careful, guys. A single word, a single preposition which that may cast your mark. So be very careful. I got 2 today. Fascinated. Fascinated means attracted or getting interest on something. What is this here? So fascinated, exact meaning is to hold the interest of someone. Like Johnny was fascinated. Most of the people are familiar with this passive voice, right? Like we use by preposition. Like when we use this with, also your mind gets confused because of mother tongue influence, because we may feel okay. So what is wrong with that? It's okay, but it is wrong. Fascinated definitely takes the preposition by, especially it is used in passive voice. His new secretary fascinated Johnny. Like you can also have in that way, but the thing is, whenever you use it in passive voice, you need to have by preposition. And the next thing is, expend on is nothing but spend on something. Spend and expend. Expend is related to expenditure, spend is related to spending. So do not expend much time on his work, on this work, not for this work. So your mind accepts for, but for is wrong. You must use on. Keep this spend on in your mind, then automatically you can remember this. And next, yes, we got B in the alphabetical words, alphabetical order of these root words. So bibli and bio are brought to you today. Bibli or biblio is related to book and even sometimes the Bible. So bibliology is the literature or doctrine of the Bible, and bibliography is a study of the books, like list of the books used as sources. And bibliomania, like we are pretty familiar with this mania because we discussed a lot number of manias and phobias in the previous list. Like you can have that PDFs, I think so. Like whoever didn't watch those, so watch that videos and even get that PDFs. So the only thing to memorize is to revise and memorize. That is the only way to remember all these words. And bibliophile, phile is related to love. A person who loves books is called as bibliophile. And bio is nothing but life or living matter. So this word is very familiar to all the students because biology, the science of life, biodegradable, capable of being decomposed by, that means example bacteria. Biography, so a life story of someone written by some other person. Biosphere, its surface inhabited by living creatures is called as a biosphere. And next, let's get to editorial vocab of the day. Glimmer. Glimmer means a ray, a hope. So exact meaning of glimmer is related to lighting, but here so glimmer is a faint sign, like contextually a little bit of hope or hint of light. Consensus, an idea or opinion that is shared by the people in a group, especially a sort of agreement. Consent, I think you are familiar with this word. Deploy means move, particularly military into position for military action. Next, de-escalate. Escalate means to increase, de-escalate means to reduce, to decrease, to lessen, to dwindle. Remember this word, dwindle means diminish. That means reducing something. Tense. So tense is a grammatical term which means it's related to time being, but here tense means, tense also can be used in verb sense, tense to tensed, but tense here in this context it is used in adjective form, that means disturbed, panicky, in a state of agitation, agitated can be the synonyms of this tense. Formulation is nothing but creation, origination, arrangement. Next, live up to, it's a phrase. What does that mean? Live up to my expectations, like satisfying, fulfilling, or achieving. Next, suit, verb, suited, meet the requirements. So this particularly suited to me, that means so met the requirements can be set. Disengage or disengagement means withdrawal or pull out or leave or move out, retreat or getting to the back position, or reducing, withdrawal. Eased, verb, so mitigate or soften or like reducing or making comfortable. Abide by, remember this word abide by, it's a phrasal verb actually. So conform, to adhere to, stick to something, comply with. Expedite is a verb, expedited, accelerate or speed up or like quicken up something, hasten up something is called as expedite. Stalk, which means clear, like very distinct, evident, obvious, striking is stalk. Next, status quo ante, it's a Latin phrase actually, which means the state of affairs existing before. Status quo, as it is, the affairs, so they stay as it is, that is status quo. Next, transgression is nothing but violation, disturbing, breach, contravention, infringement. These are new terms, remember, infringement, contravention. Next, accompany, you are familiar with this, like be present with, coincide, coexist, cooperate, occur with someone is accompany. Here it's a verb. Strike a discordant note, that means express a conflicting note, opposite things is called as strike a discordant note. It's a phrasal expression. Discordant means contradictory, opposite. Dis root generally takes negatives, opposites. Prerequisite, which is a necessary condition, essential or requirement. Take forward, it's a phrasal verb. To deal with, to tackle or addressing a problem is take forward. Moreover, so it's an adverb, so that means furthermore, in addition to something, or besides. Remember, besides, it's a preposition actually. Commentary, everybody knows this. Narration, explanation, account, report. Onus, like now and then you see this word onus, which means responsibility or duty. Diffuse or reduce, don't get confused with refuse again. Diffuse means to diminish or reduce in size. Provocation means like agitation, like provoking someone. Reiterate, repeating or saying again, restating. Road ahead, future, it's all about future is road ahead. It's a phrasal expression actually. Veneer, which is noun, looking like a verb, but it is a noun which means image or posture. Outward impression is veneer. Engagement, participation, like taking a part, and involvement is engagement. Strengthen, which is verb, like it may end with en. Don't get confused that it is a v3 form of verb. It is v1 and it takes strengthened with ed endings as v2 and v3s. Increase or intensify or heighten something is strengthen. Hold, verb or noun. Hold means like power, so holding time, holding office, holding power. So such kind of thing. Next, from now on, it's a phrase. Henceforth, from this day on, from this moment on. So forth, from now on, in the future is called as from now on. Let's get to editorial of the day, which is glimmer of hope on India China 5 point. Recently we discussed this particularly China-India border issues, border tensions. Like here, the glimmer of hope means a faint ray or faint hope exists with a 5-point consensus, a sort of agreement between India and China. So have taken the first step to begin real disengagement, like withdrawal at the border, especially this tensions. The 5-point consensus reached with the Foreign Minister of India and China in Moscow on Thursday provides a glimmer of hope of a diplomatic solution, while thousands of troops from both countries remain deployed along the border. So both things are happening, like these people are deployed, but this 5-point consensus which was reached by the foreign ministers of both India and China, so they provide a glimmer of hope. At the same time, these thousands of troops are still remain deployed, means they exist still. It is however only a glimmer, that's why it's a glimmer. Glimmer means faint, not completely bright. Glimmer, faint light. Each point outlined in a joint statement has been affirmed previously by two neighbors, both in past boundary agreements and in talks held since June that have failed to de-escalate tensions. However, each point whatever outlined means gave a brief sketch in a joint statement. So they have been approved by whom? By both the parties, but by both the countries, two neighbors, so which are India and China. So both in past, so what happened, these boundary agreements and in talks held since June which have failed, those things again were discussed in this 5-point consensus, right? The LAC, line of actual control, remains tense. So like how? In a very disturbed condition, facing its worst crisis since 1962. Right after 1962, this is the second moment which experienced such kind of worst crisis. Both sides have agreed to take guidance from previous understandings, however, including on not allowing differences to become disputes, a formulation of 2017 that has not lived up to its promise. So however, so they have agreed to take guidance from the previous understandings, like that differences between these two countries, they should not become disputes according to a formulation of 2017, but that did not live up to the expectation of its promise. They agreed the current situation suits neither side. Troops should quickly disengage, maintain proper distance and ease tension. So however, so they agreed this current situation suits neither side, means both of them in an opposite way. So troops should quickly disengage, means withdraw, and they have to maintain proper distance and they have to ease tensions also. Both sides said they would abide by all existing agreements, continue dialogue and expedite work on finding confidence building measures to maintain peace. Here both sides, they have to abide by all the existing agreements. That is the only thing they have to do. At the same time, stark means clear. Very obvious differences remain, including on the key question of whether both sides will return to the status quo ante prior to China's transgressions. However, so this is the clear differences, they still remain, especially key question of whether both sides are going to get back to their previous status quo ante, that is Latin phrase. So prior to China's transgressions, means so violations, so whatever China did. The issuing of the joint statement was somewhat usually accompanied by separate press statements which struck discordant notes on key issues. However, this joint statement was accompanied by separate press statements. So however, that separate statements they give discordant notes, that means opposite in nature on key issues. India stressed that peace on the boundary was essential for ties and that recent incidents had impacted the broader relationship. So however, India sticks on to this particular point that peace on the boundary is very essential for the ties, means relationship, and recent incidents, however, they have impacted, created a great impact on the border relationship. And Chinese statement on the other hand, so how it said, sought to emphasize of what? The importance of moving the relationship in the right direction to put the border in a proper context. So however, that was highlighted here, that is putting the border in a proper context means like having a perfect outlines to that border. China's statement also quoted India's foreign minister as saying India believed China's policy toward India had not changed and that it did not consider relationships to be dependent on the settlement of the border questions, boundary questions. So here China's China's statement, it even quoted one more particular point, that is India's foreign minister saying related India believed China's policy toward India had not changed. That policy towards China had not changed and it did not consider any relationships to be dependent on the statement of the boundary question. So that means the relationship still exists without including this boundary question. This characterization of India's stand was a sharp contrast for what? From Delhi's recent public statements, which have emphasized border peace as a prerequisite to taking forward the broader relationship. So to have a broader relationship, they have to maintain the border peace, which was Delhi's recent statement. So which is completely contrast to China's statement. So moreover, a day before the talks, China's official news agency issued a commentary placing the onus entirely on India to defuse tensions, accusing India of reckless provocation, telling India to learn from history and reiterating that China will not lose an inch of territory. So here, so the day before talks, the China news agency, they issued a commentary related to this, like India has to defuse, so blaming, accusing India that it has the reckless provocations, and even telling India that it has to learn from the history, and even restating one particular point that China will not lose even an inch of territory. It is welcome that India and China have finally found something to agree on finally. So they have got one point to agree on, that is Thursday's consensus. That means agreement, however, is the only the first step of a long road ahead. So still we have to wait a long road. It seems like it is going to the first step, only the very first step. The continuing round of talk should be aimed sincerely at a disengagement, not at presenting a veneer of diplomatic engagement, even while China strengthens its hold along the LAC. So here, so this continuing round of talks, what they should aim at, they should sincerely aim at disengagement, that is withdrawal of that particular tensions, and not at presenting a veneer. Veneer, like we have got, what is this veneer? Outward impression. So this veneer, diplomatic engagement, even while China, so at the same time, what this China is trying to strengthening its hold along the LAC. So whatever the things this China is doing, they have to maintain this, particularly they have to aim at the disengagement. India will need to verify before it can trust each of China's steps from now on. So however, so being a diplomatic country and a very peaceful country, India has to verify each and every step of China from now on after this, so before it can trust China. Right, so that is about the analysis. Now let's get to editorial test of the day. So here we have got a different model. So we have got some words highlighted, and column A provides with the same words which are highlighted, and column B gives you some related corrections. If they are correct, none of the above will be the answer. If any changes are required, so you can go with that related options. Prescriptions about global oil have flipped. Prescriptions is not suitable. Prescription related perceptions, that means 1-5 combinations. What do we have? So we have this, we have this, so straight to the point. So you can check this 3-7. What is 3 shortcoming? What is 3 shortage? Check the context. From fears of shortcoming to apprehension of a glut. It's not shortcoming, it's a shortage to apprehension of a glut will be more meaningful. That's why the answer is 1, 5 and 3, 7, straight to the point. We needed to think about the remaining options even. Now let's get to question number 2. Computers were discovered, got the point, they were discovered or invented. However, so that suits the perfect 1, 5, and check 3, 7 also. So what is 3, 7? Intelligent, intelligently. The world's first intelligent mission or intelligently mission? Intelligent mission. That means this is wrong, and the answer is 1, 5. Needed to check the remaining options also. There we end that particular point, particular question. Next one is designed for people. Designing for people. Yes, is designed for people. The Aspiring Principals Leadership Program is designed for people who are likely to become principals soon. Yes, of course it's correct, because is designed is passive context. It's designed for people is obviously correct. Okay, next let's get to the next one. Who are likely to become principals soon. Okay, it focuses on educational leadership over than school administration. Okay, and emphasis emphasizes, yes, to rather takes, yes, over than is rather than is most preferable. That means we need to have 2 and 6. 2, 6 is here. Next check 3, 7. Emphasis or emphasizes. It focuses vividness. emphasis, noun, which we want, emphasizes. So we have got both combination in D, and the answer is D. That's it. You needed to check the 4-8 option also, because we have got only that option. You need to go none of the above. When do you go to none of the above? If they are perfectly accurate. Next, Anganwadi centers are the focal point of dash of distribution of health and nutrition services or delivery of nutrition. So, however, distribution of delivery is most suitable. So that's why I go with 1-5. 1-5 is repeated, so that's wrong. But the answer is 1-5. 1-5 is fixed. You need to go to the next options also. Next, 5th one. Yes, Tamil Nadu has been in the limelight. Limelight highlighted is like meaningless. Limelight for its child labor problems. Okay, children were falling. Yes, falling. They said PRAY. PRAY means to pray. That means pradhinchadam. Falling, PREY, is a phrasal expression, which means they are becoming prey. Prey means food. PREY means food. That means prey takes PREY. That means 2-6. 2-6 option is there in B, and you can check. You have got combination 3-7 and 4-8. You can check one more. Let's see 3-7. Industries, establishment. Firecracker and matchsticks producing industries or establishment. So, however, industries, they are industries. So, that's why there is no need of this. And the answer is obviously 2-6. There we end this, guys. Okay, I hope you enjoyed watching the class. So, once again, I'm asking you, don't forget to subscribe our channel if you didn't subscribe still. So many are yet to come. So, the last but not the least, so once again I'm reminding you guys, so practice our papers, so which have that bilingual models, so at least 2 to 3 a day, so to get rid of that tension, that stress related to scrolling related time delaying in the main exams. So we provided you with the papers in our website. Go to that website, go to our website and practice. So practice, then you can come out of that fear when you face the real exam. Don't forget it. And the last but not the least, don't forget to like. Thank you. Signing off.